like to introduce our next presenter from Columbus, Ohio, where it's only 2 below, so we're getting some warmth here. And I'd like to introduce Dawn Dickinson from PopCom.
Thank you so much. Good morning. So happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me today and for making it out this morning. My name is Dawn Dixon, and I'm the founder and CEO of PopCom, and I'm here to talk to you about the future of retail. Lovely. Okay. There we go. Now more than ever, people are using self-service kiosks and vending machines to make their lives easier. Think about going to the grocery store and self-checkout, going to the airport and printing your boarding pass, or even ordering food. It allows for convenience, it allows for fast transactions, and a lot of times are open 24/7, which eliminates the need for an additional person to help that customer. Over 120 million Americans every single day use vending machines and kiosks. There's over 9 million of these self-service, so it's improved now. So almost 9 million self-service kiosks in the US. And that number of smart kiosks, which means they're enabled, they're connected, they have new technology, that's growing 30% year over year. The overall industry is projected to reach 39 billion by 2021. So that's a huge adoption by many companies. You see them popping up at McDonald's and everywhere else. But despite this adoption, there's still major problems. And I say these machines are dumb. I mean, very few can monitor inventory, which means people have to go up to the machine and count by hand still. Less than 15% are connected. So that means they're not connected to the Wi-Fi. They can't send receipts. They can't engage with CRM and tell a customer thank you. They can't send an email. So what this does is leave retailers and businesses blind to who their customers really are. They just know basket size, and that's not enough to grow a business. We're solving this problem by developing smart hardware and smart software that utilizes facial recognition, artificial intelligence, and stores the data on the blockchain to help the retailers learn more about their customers, but still keep the data private and secure. This is our first product that I'm showing you called the Pop Shop. I invented this Pop Shop. There's a patent pending on this, and this is a new vending machine and a new way to sell products. And it leverages our technology and leverages the facial recognition. It detects age, customers' gender, their emotion, how they're shopping, their engagement, and for the first time ever on a vending machine or kiosk, we calculate conversion rates, which means how many people walk by and engage versus how many actually complete a transaction, which helps them to understand, is their kiosk actually effective? Is it in the right location? Who's shopping? Are they male and female? How are they feeling? Apologize for that slide malfunction there. But the most important thing is protecting the customer's privacy. We've all heard about the recent data breaches from every business out there, and keeping customers' data secure is more important than ever. So we do not take their identity without their permission. What we do is turn their face into a biometric cache, which is demonstrated on my slide. So to capture the image, and your face turns into a series of symbols and numbers that represents you. And all that will do is say, if it's me, it's a female. She's happy, she purchased, but it'll give enough data for the retailer to come up with a demographic profile without taking the identity. But in some cases, you do need to verify your identity. And we can do this by using the face recognition on the blockchain and verify and store that data in the biometric hash so it can be a verified identity. Why would you need this? Going to the grocery store, wanting to buy a beer or wine, wanting to self-checkout, but can't complete a transaction without a human actually checking your ID. There's still friction in the transaction. With our software, you can check out your eggs, check out your bread and your wine, and keep it moving. Also, as we know, the cannabis industry is growing tremendously in the US and of course is now legal in Canada. We can now, with our software, allow cannabis to be purchased in an automated way through a kiosk or a vending machine. This also includes pharmaceuticals and of course tobacco. In addition to our software functionality, we have some really amazing POS, which is a point of purchase, point of sale for the consumer to engage and even collect more data, gamification, take surveys. So really what we do is bring the e-commerce experience to the real world on a kiosk. All the cool things you do on your phone when you're shopping and online now can be done in person. It also has the ability to place orders on the kiosk and ship to your house. order at home, pick it up from a kiosk, to bring the true omni-channel retail experience to the retail market. All the data we collect is aggregated in our patent pending dashboard. So imagine Shopify, Google Analytics, what they do for websites. That's what we do for vending machines and kiosks. Now you can remotely monitor inventory, you can manage your business in real time, you can change pricing in real time. Everything is done from the dashboard. No more going to the machine or the kiosk and programming it yourself. We focus on two target customers. We work with vending manufacturers and operators to integrate our software as a white label solution. But our product one, which is a pop shop, we focus on retailers that are selling online strong, so retail and CPG, which that represents a very large market. So we've narrowed that down to retailers that sell in pop-up shops to represent a $10 billion market that we focus on for product one. These are customers that are selling strong online, maybe do some wholesale, but they want a brick and mortar presence with a smaller footprint and a smaller cost. And vending is the way, and especially smart vending, where we can integrate that with your e-commerce store to have a holistic snapshot of your business. Our business model, we profit from our hardware sales at a 40% margin. We're not a manufacturer. We have a manufacturing partner, which is the #1 kiosk manufacturer in the U.S. It's called Kiosk Information Systems. We also profit, of course, from our software. We have a SaaS model. Base price of our software is $4,800 a year, which is on par for e-commerce. So we spent significant time in customer discovery to determine, is this a price that customers would pay? Overwhelmingly, yes, and we do have paying customers at this time. We also, like every e-commerce platform, we take a small percentage of transaction fees. So every single transaction processed through our network on our vending machines and kiosks, we take a small fee from that for the processing. In addition, we built an advertising platform to allow vending machine and kiosk owners to monetize their screens when they're not selling anything. So imagine all these machines plugged up. This is holding up real estate. Now they can actually sell ads on their machines and leverage these screens to make more money. And then finally, as we grow and scale, we'll create a data moat because there's no other company in the U.S. collecting traffic pattern data, demographic data, or conversion data from vending machines or kiosks. We are a true market maker in this space. We do have traction. We currently have, we have Procter & Gamble, Gillette, as a paid customer. They're going to launch in our pop shop, selling razor blades and I want to show you guys all this great traction that we have, selling razor blades and shaving cream in airports. We also have several other smaller brands which we want to bring the proof of concept, so we work with several e-commerce brands, as I mentioned, to allow them to now have a brick and mortar presence. We have partnered with Kiosk Information Systems. We've partnered with Samsung. It's been an official partnership announced globally. We partner with Verizon for our 4G connectivity and hopefully when it's available to move to 5G. And we've also partnered with Kairos for face recognition as well as for Wiser for the data analysis and surveys. And it's been, we have a strong pipeline, $50,000 in deposits, $3.7 million in our immediate pipeline, and projected revenue for this year of $1.4 million. The competitive landscape, we really base it on the overall market because it's emerging in the U.S. Even though it is a $39 billion industry, it's much larger in China. So I've compared some of the businesses in China that have raised significant amount of capital to our product. And despite these companies raising $150 million, $50 million, and even Kimi raising $50 million in the U.S., PopCom's IP, our dashboard and our vending machine hardware itself, it still ranks #1 as far as functionality in the market. So we definitely are a true market maker. We do have our advantage with 2 patents pending. We have a partnership, as I mentioned, with the largest kiosk manufacturer in the world, which is one of our acquisition targets, and a partnership with Samsung, which is also a potential acquisition target. We also really focus on building relationships with companies that we can scale alongside. So the #1 business in the U.S. in our space is called Swift. Those are the Best Buy machines we've all seen at the airport. We have a partnership with them as well, and they're a potential acquisition target because they don't serve smaller businesses or they don't do pilots. So we are a feeder system to them as they scale, and I see it as a great potential for acquisition, as well as Shopify, who is a dominant force in e-commerce and have many of our potential customers already doing business with Shopify, and we are currently working to integrate our platform into Shopify to allow businesses to manage Shopify and their PopCom machine together. So these are strong acquisition targets that we are currently in talks with and building relationships with. We have an amazing team to get this done. I've been an entrepreneur for now, this is my 18th year, and my team spans from wide range of experience from Nationwide Insurance, Draper University. My CTO, Dan Rockwell, worked in the commercialization department for patents at Ohio State University. So bringing our patent to market and monetizing that, that's his specialty. And we recently brought on as our lead advisor, Jeff Hoffman, who was a former CEO of Priceline and the actual inventor of the airport kiosk. So having the inventor of what I've innovated on my advisory board to guide me has been invaluable to help us determine how to get to the market and how to scale. Last but not least, my ask slide disappeared, but I'm not going to leave that out. We're currently raising $950,000 at an $8 million valuation. Primarily, that is going to go to non-recurring engineering costs, operations, and scaling the team to bring on more engineers. Of course, we're a software company. But in order to bring the product to market, there are some additional expenses in the hardware engineering in order to go from prototype phase to mass production. So the investment potentially from Meda will definitely help us to meet our sales projection and goals for this year. Thank you so much for your time, and I welcome any questions that you have. Hi, yes.
Hi, yeah, my wife and I actually volunteer our time at a dance studio my daughter goes to, and actually service the vending machine for the entire dance studio. So I'm familiar with the paying services
Definitely.
side of the business.
Definitely.
I didn't really see that in your model. Who actually is, supplying actually servicing the systems, I guess.
Yeah, so there's a whole ecosystem in place for that. So we are the hardware and software provider. There are businesses that are out there doing maintenance and service and replenishment. Our partner kiosk information systems is the one that ensures the hardware, also provides a maintenance package. It's a 10-year warranty, and they continue to service it beyond that. So we don't handle that at all. We really focus on scaling our SaaS, but we realize that in order to get our software to market, we have to provide hardware to really show people and demonstrate how it can be done. But a lot of the machines that you've worked with, those are very antiquated, and they will be going away. So we're building software for the future. Like, you don't see cannabis and vending machines today, but give it 3 to 5 years, and it won't be uncommon to buy a beer or buy cannabis in a machine. So we're really focusing on building for the future of retail.
Just
Yes.
quick related follow-up in terms of who's identifying the locations or securing the locations for the kiosk.
Great question. So again, we don't manage that part. There are actually companies that do that as well. Like Procter & Gamble, they're very clear about their strategy and where they want to go. So they were very clear about wanting to be in airports. And it's actually not that hard to do. I put my very first vending machine as operator in the Atlanta airport. So it wasn't difficult. It's a matter of having hardware with a footprint that's small enough to accommodate the spaces that are available. So the companies that come to us, they're very clear about where their customers are, and they want to reach them better. So, for instance, I sold some shoes in vending machines for women when their feet hurt. I sold it at nightclubs because that's where their feet hurt. So they're really clear. It's just a matter of, aligning with the right people to get them in those locations. Yes.
Great job.
Thank you.
So you talked about ranking your company number one in terms of the competitive space.
Yes.
Can you tell us based on what and by whom?
Yes. So I just compared the features and the functionalities that these companies offer. And we're the only company that offers conversion calculation, so that counts the people that walk by. There's 2 layers of conversions. One layer is who walk up, so that's like who engage at all, and they could walk away and never walk all the way to the front. And then the next layer is how are they engaging when they get there. We're the only company to do that anywhere that I've found, and I lived in Hong Kong for a month just really deep diving into the Asian market and didn't find this technology that existed. Really what they're focusing on in the investment space is IoT. As I said, only 15% are connected. So companies that are raising money just to get these things connected are doing significant, raising significant capital. But we're taking it a step ahead and saying, okay, now that they're connected, who are your customers? How do you engage with them? How do you give them the optimal product, the optimal pricing, and how do you measure the success of your machine? And that's why we have the number one features and the functionality. Thank you. Yes.
Do you have any data on when you placed your machine, I think you said in the Atlanta airport, What's the increase in the number of customers that it attracts? What's the increase in conversion rate, engagement rate? Do you have any data around that?
That's a great question, and that no data exists currently about that at all. That is what prompted me to start this company. I was an operator with an antiquated vending machine selling products. I realized as an operator, I don't have any data. I scoured the market. Does someone have some data that a tool that I can use to collect data? It didn't exist. So even though I sold 10,000 pairs of shoes in a 1.5 year period, I had no data about who they were, the conversion rates, and I couldn't even get a single email address. So our goal is to be that data provider. We will know that. So when our vending machines hit the market in May, then we will start to collect that data. And it does take time, but we'll create that data moat where people can come to us and we can tell you, women shop this way and convert this way, men this way, this age group, this venue has this much traffic.
I guess just to follow up, I was also curious the aggregate. So presumably you did have data that, okay, this vending machine sold, $10,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any data that says then when you move to a PopCom machine, that increases to $13,000 a month?
We could make up a number, but I wouldn't do that. We have to get it in the market. So I don't want to make an assumption of what our software is going to do. I want to put it in the market and test it and demonstrate it and show. The only information that the current machines do track are basket size. So you can know the average amount added to a cart versus how much people spend. But there is absolutely no data on the market around that. So I took my machine out of the Atlanta airport and we're going to put a new PopCom machine back in, and I'm using my business as a case study to demonstrate this. So in the next 6 months in 19, I definitely hope to have those numbers for everyone to see. Yes, and then I'll come there.
Thank you. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. What about if you come at that question from kind of the other side? What's the price differential from a smart hardware and smart software compared to the dumb vending machines? And, are customers going to be willing to pay that price increment?
Yeah, so before I built it, we interviewed over 100 operators and retailers around the pricing, and the annual base is $4,800 a month, which average e-commerce shopping cart just to run an e-commerce store is between $500 and $1,500. So we're totally comfortable paying that. To answer your question about antiquated machine, there's no software. So you buy a machine, put candy or whatever you put in it, or the Best Buy machine was $20,000, and you get customer email addresses, and that's all. There's no software associated with it that does the analytics that we provide. So when we gave the customers an example of the analytics that we collect, they're very much so willing to pay that because they're already spending hundreds of thousands on consumer reports and research to try to guess and figuring out what's the airport traffic. Okay, how many are in this concourse? We can assume this. We'll be the first ones to have actually hard data on this. Yes.
Thank you, Dawn. Terrific job. So my question is around widespread adoption of vending machines in general and what you think, with 9 million machines in market as the baseline, what ultimately are the factors that will drive demand? Like, what's your view on the macro? Is it a shift in consumer behavior, a willingness more on the part of retailers to pilot, or what drives that overall trend up and to the right?
Yeah, it's all of those things, actually. So right now there's over 700,000 new smart kiosk and machines coming into the market a year. And it has a lot to do with consumer behaviors around purchasing and automated, shopping on your phone and shopping online, and this new generation of wanting quick transactions, wanting to order fast, wanting to, ask questions and just get the answers themselves, as opposed to the one-on-one customer service that we've seen and we've been all used to. McDonald's, they're the market maker in quick service restaurants, and they're adopting these kiosks for ordering. When I went to a McDonald's in Hong Kong, there was not even a person taking orders at all. So I believe it's just keeping HR costs down. It does replace jobs, but it then also creates more jobs in the space of learning how to maintain, operate, program these kiosks. So it is a greater opportunity to integrate technology. But I just do believe that customers' behaviors are changing. A recent report that's by Zebra that was published in Forbes recently said that 82% of customers prefer to self-serve. We go to print out our boarding pass instinctively now, but I remember there was a time when that didn't exist. So we're just trained to now go to self-checkout more than ever, and I want to make sure that retailers still get the benefit of understanding who their customers are and don't lose that. When they lose the human interaction, don't lose the connection to your customer. Yes.
Yeah, so great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
My question is really around the kiosks, and you mentioned having to have initial kiosks to build the data for your business case, which I think is a very smart thing to do. My concern is on the scalability. So have you thought about, instead of being the kiosk owner, doing a licensing fee, working with other partners where they're putting these in at a faster rate than probably
Yes.
your capital
We're
can
not the kiosk
allow?
owner.
Okay.
So I'm glad that you asked me that, so no one else thinks that. We literally sell the kiosk to the company, and they own and operate it, and we have a manufacturing partnership, and they manufacture it, and they are responsible for the maintenance, the insurance, and the warranty. We really are a software company. We power the kiosk, and then of course we want to be a big data company as we scale. So we did take all that liability, the depreciation, and anything to do with hardware off of our plate.
And they manage the capital piece of putting the kiosk in as well?
Yes, the
Okay.
installation and everything. All we do is manage all the back end, everything on the cloud, everything with the servers, and all of the software side.
Great, thank you for the
Thank you
clarification.
so much, everyone.
Okay, 5 minutes for the judges to do the scoring sheet.